there are some empaths that will try to understand what black suffering is to a degree, but I've had a therapist that was white that actually really told me once, honestly, and I thank God she was honest with me. I said, I said, like, this is during the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I was like, you can understand like what it's like to be black, right? And she's like, no, honestly, I can't. And I said, well, but you can try and like put yourselves in my shoes and like, and she's like, no, actually, I can't. And it took me a while to I thought I wasn't sure how I'd feel about that, but it took me a while to like understand. Like okay, I can understand why she says that, because it's true. Because that'd be like me. That'd be like that. Yeah, that'd be like me. That'd be like me being like, yeah, I understand what it's like to be a woman who's pregnant and gave birth. No, I understand. I know I'm a man, but I understand. Like, yeah, you get pregnant and you give birth. No, I understand. Like, yeah, I get it. Yeah. No, I can't.
No, you can't.
No, I can't.
So she was really truthful.
So she was being honest.
That's the part, because you don't find them. You will never find a white person to do that hardly. So, actually, shit, I kind of find that refreshing.
For questions, comments, and to show your support, visit us on the web at afroempath.com.
They're not, struggling to survive, so they have all the time and the freedom and all that to even get deeper into a lot of, that.
Correct, but there's our stuff. Yeah, it is. But I'll say one thing. There's one thing with that though. Even though they have all the information, the juice. Right, the juice has to come from love, and they don't have that juice. You know what I'm trying to say? And unless they are sincere, unless they're sincere empaths, they don't have any fucking power behind what the fuck they're doing. So that's why I can't stand listening to half of these fucking idiots.
Because you can feel it.
Exactly, it's just like nothing behind it.
It's just fucking there's no soul, no energy behind it. It's just bland like some chicken with no salt and pepper. Or
exactly,
like
it's
that.
like they'll talk about fucking rescuing animals more they'll talk about the prison system or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, I love cats, but guess what? A cat can live out in the street and be fucking fine.
All kind of people, I talk to anybody.
Yeah.
So if I don't have anything against you or you haven't done me wrong, I'm not gonna be like, I can't be friends with you, all that. You white motherfuckers, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? I take things on a case by case basis.
Of course,
so,
yes.
Girl's friendly. She's a associate of mine. I could call her a friend. I use the term loosely.
Yeah.
Because people throw it around so much, it doesn't even mean what it should mean, because I consider friends something different than people saying, "Oh, that's my friend." I'm like, I don't say that's my friend.
Correct,
and you have to really be my friend.
You got to earn that shit, yeah.
For me to say that. But so anyway, so she's, I guess, somebody I'm cool with. I'll just put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But she is so like that. She's one of these PETA, animal rights activists. She's gung-ho about that, but and she gets all up in your ass. Oh my God, look at this animal abuse all up on social media. This is wrong. Look at this in the zoo and about the monkeys and all. Oh, just going ham about this, that, and the third. But the black man just got shot, got his ass killed in the car on live TV. Facebook Live. You know what I'm saying? No motherfucking compassion, no empathy whatsoever. Nothing. This is the same species you are, bitch, supposedly. You know what I'm saying? That's what you've been told. So, but the color was just like, oh my gosh, that just it's such a barrier to where they can't. I don't know what is that.
I'll tell you. Thank you for actually asking me. And what it is actually is that if they were to empathetically, because as an empath, you have to be able to put yourself in the other person's shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And be able to feel what they feel. If they were to do that, it would literally completely and utterly shut them down to the point where they would not be able to function and even survive. Does that make sense? I get
that. So you're saying the ones that are empathic, because a lot of them aren't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I'm saying there are some empaths that will try to understand what black suffering is to a degree, but I've had a therapist that was white that actually really told me once, honestly, and I thank God she was honest with me. I I said, like this is during the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I was like, you can understand like what it's like to be black, right? And she's like, no, honestly, I can't. And I said, well, you can try and like put yourselves in my shoes and like, and she's like, no, actually, I can't. And it took me a while to I thought I wouldn't, I wasn't sure how I'd feel about that, but it took me a while to like understand. Like okay, I can understand why she says that because it's true. Because that'd be like me. That'd be like that. Yeah, that'd be like me. That'd be like me being like, yeah, I understand what it's like to be a woman who's pregnant and gave birth. No, I understand. I know I'm a man, but I understand. Like, yeah, you get pregnant and you give birth. No, I understand. Like, yeah, I get it. Yeah. No, I can't.
No, you can't.
No, I can't.
So she was really truthful.
So she was being honest.
That's the part because you don't find them. You will never find a white person to do that hardly. So, actually, shit, I kind of find that refreshing.
Yeah, it was okay. So it made me understand. Okay, so that's it. She just actually can't, and like most people, like it's like they're not going to admit that, and then it's like if they do have the sincerity to do that, I think they can only do it to a certain degree before, like I said, before their nervous system would just shut down. Because I know, like me, we go through a shit ton, and I'll tell you what, right now, like
we're the strongest.
Absolutely,
you can't deny that we're the strongest. And just listen, the average thing, the average day-to-day that a black person goes through, and we're not even talking about the worst day, just the average day, just the shit we have to go through would pretty much tear a white person down.
And I'm thinking I gotta interject. I gotta say as a black man, and I'm not trying to be, I understand black women have it, but you gotta understand as a black man, it is even worse. And if you're being, and like
I'm not one of those ones that I can't see the difference, and I'm not trying to have a competition on that.
Yeah.
I understand it.
Yeah.
And I understand that as a male, just with all it entails on being that gender, the function, how you guys function, how you operate, you're more of the front. You're just like if you have an operating system, the male is the front end. You understand what I'm saying? So the male goes out in society and gets the brunt of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and we're supposed to be providers, and we can't in the society. Right. That's the worst part about it,
Providers in society. I understand. I fully understand that. I'm not one of these ones that can't see this, okay?
Yeah, of course.
I understand that even in a patriarchal society to where women are now kind of in this independent and doing, trying to move into, they're moving into the male space to where they're out doing things too. It's still not what the male goes through because they're out in that space, but they're not holding the same space as the male does. So I clearly see the difference, and I understand what you're saying. I agree. The black male has the hardest time on the planet of anybody as far as having to go out in society and maneuver around and to do what you have to do. And that's why, you're the most vulnerable. You know what I mean?
I do. Absolutely. I mean, it's
a target. It's a target.
Yes.
The biggest target is on the black male.
It is, because we have the white man after us. We have, and it's some strange sexual fantasy way, the white woman after us.
Right, and it's more of a vampiric.
Yeah, it is, exactly.
That's what I really want black men to understand, because there's a lot of black men that they'll act like, oh well, pussy's pink, you know what I mean? And hey, I'm just gonna be with whoever is not gonna stress me out, and you know what I'm saying, and whoever's gonna cater to me as a man, and I ain't got time to be dealing with that, all that shit. And then they think they're in this great situation, and then they have some type of, also complexes to where, they feel like, okay, I've achieved something as a man if I got a white woman, because now I feel like I'm being accepted as a man, because for so many years you were told you couldn't have this, you couldn't do this, and you were less than a human being. Oh, I got a white woman. That's some type of validation for this nigga. You understand what I'm saying? So he feels all this type of power. He feels like he has a power boost, and he's being elevated in society by that shit. So that's another reason why they do that shit. But they don't realize, I'm like, damn, you just got sold a lemon, and you just got sold a raw deal. That's just like a fucking a wolf when he smells blood, but it's on a sword and he keeps licking. It's like you think you're getting something, you're tasting something good that you think tastes good, but you're killing yourself, because these women will never be able. It's just like energy, if
Yep.
you're talking about energy,
You can give to them, but they can't. Yeah, exactly.
energetically incompatible.
Yep.
It's never gonna work. I don't
Correct.
care how motherfucking brainwashed you are. I don't care how Europeanized, westernized this black man has steeped his mind in. Energetically, it's never going to be balanced. And so that imbalance in itself is going to cause problems, because she's compensating for what she doesn't have, and you're her fucking battery. You're her energy source.
Correct.
And it's vampiristic. They just want to feed on you. Not you, but the black man. You know what I'm saying? They want to feed on you, and they're looking for you to support their fucking life force, and they're not giving back. And that's what they don't understand. Even the worst black woman is the black men would have in their mind, like, oh man, this bitch got an attitude, and she's not, you know what I'm saying? She's not respecting me as a man. She's trying to emasculate me. Even the most hood ratchetest ghetto, you know what I'm saying? Just out there, like, I don't need you, male hate. Even the most worst of them still has that energy to where she is giving back, and she's replenishing what's being taken on a certain level. Now it's mixed in with a whole lot of fucking shit and garbage. I wouldn't fuck with it, because
fuck that. I don't give a fuck. I'm that version.
No, you're gonna have to try version. I'm gonna tell you that, because that bitch is so unstable. She will knock you off balance. But I'm just saying, on an energetic level, the black woman cannot just take from a black man without giving something back in return. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you come together, even sexually, if you exchange, there's gonna be some exchange. That black woman is gonna nourish you some type of way. You understand what I'm saying? She's gonna give you some type of energetic, nutritional nourishment, some type of way. It's, you don't want to fuck with her too long, because it's too negative. She's gonna be unstable. But I'm saying, in her nature, it's like that. The white woman is just like a vampire. Look at these fucking Kardashians, okay? Let's look at this shit. Look at these goddamn Kardashians. Look at this bitch that married Tiger Woods. Look at all these bitches. Okay, look at the evidence. The proof is in the pudding.
I understand. I get you. I get you. OJ. Yeah. Who knows what happened with that? But
he killed her.
Yeah,
okay,
probably.
That bitch. I mean,
what's the metaphysical breakdown of this though? Like, what is it? What is it? So the juice within us obviously is the soul, right? So you're saying that they don't have that, and that's why we're energetically incompatible, or what's I'm trying to say? Like, what's the breakdown of that metaphysically?
But okay, so when you're saying the soul, so you got to break that down, because some people have different meanings in their mind. With the soul, they think, okay, when I die, it's the soul. But when I'm talking about, talking about, when I say energetically, I'm talking about the spiritual energy that you have. The bodies, the subtle bodies, your aura. You understand what I'm saying? We have more power. We generate more power. You understand? We have a bigger aura. A lot of these people are deficient. You understand? They're deficient energetically.
Why is that?
They're disconnected. So basically, what I'm saying is just like, this is physics. This is science. Okay, it's just plain physics. Okay, it's just like you have a battery. You have a positive end and a negative end. You know what I'm saying? And when you hook those batteries up to those electrodes, that energy is able to travel like through the battery. Okay, and it's regenerating. Okay, so you have your positive end going in, and it's going through the electrode. It's generating some energy, and then you have that circulating and going back to the electrode on the negative end. So it's giving back, and it's kind of it creates a circulation. And so this battery, even though this is a bad example, because a battery's finite in nature, unless you have a generator that keeps circulating it back. So let's just use like the generator example. So you have the negative and positive. So you're able to generate that energy and keep generating and circulating it, because you have a source and you're tapped into that source. Okay, what I'm saying is these motherfuckers are disconnected. They're disconnected from the earth, because they're anti-nature. Okay, they're against nature. Okay? They've killed everything on this planet. Anything that they see that is natural, they want to conquer it somehow. They see it being as different and outside of themselves.
Yeah,
They don't see it
they
being a
they
part
feel
of
yeah they feel as if they can't be if they can't be in tune with it or be a part of it, I guess, then they'll dominate it and they'll conquer it and they'll get a thrill from
right.
conquering it.
And so the fact that they see it like that,
Yeah.
that's already a just major disconnect. So
Yep.
they seek to disconnect from nature. They don't have a connection to the earth.
Hmm.
So that's the negative end of this whole polarity thing as far as generating energy.
Hmm.
Now the upper end, the positive end, is basically when you're talking about the positive end, you're talking about the male and you're getting towards the crown and the head. That's the positive end. They're disconnected from cosmic energy coming down. They're disconnected on all ends. So when you're disconnected, you're not able to generate energy for yourself to build up your own spiritual body, whether that be your electromagnetic field, your subtle bodies, your energy level. It's just like the Dragon Ball Z Goku. They can't power the fuck up. You understand what I'm saying? So they seek power and energy. They're vampiristic. They're parasitic in nature. They seek to get energy from other sources. So look for, okay, I need to generate energy. I need these resources. I need this coal. I need this food. Oh, I need to eat another animal. You understand what I'm saying? Like that whole concept, I'm pretty sure that came in with niggas. Well, it came in before then, but I'm just saying they took it to a whole other level.
I get you. I get you.
Very respectful. If we only when scarcity came into play, and we were in situations where the shit started to become harsh, that we went to the level. Okay, we need to go out and take another sentient being's life to support our own life. And when we did it with a level of respect, because we realized, God dang, we're taking another person, not another person, but another being's life that has a right to be here. And we did it out of respect, and we prayed over it. And this concept is kind of in halal and culturism that kind of trickled down. But indigenous cultures, they had ceremonies. They gave like a lot of honor and respect because they realized what they were doing, and they were doing that out of necessity. But like white people, they just feel like, oh no, this is my right. I need the energy. They got the energy. I'm gonna take it from them motherfuckers. They get to the point where they'll eat another motherfucking person. Cannibalism is the highest amongst European.
I get you. But here's my thing. Like
so they are very vampiristic.
I don't disagree with you.
They take energy from people all the
time.
I get
you. Let me say this though. And this you tell me if I'm wrong, but I try to understand things also as an empath, right? Yeah. So imagine that you were we can almost imagine it because we came out of slavery and we didn't know the fuck we were. But I mean, if they were people that came out of caves, they were. I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong, but they were somehow created or grafted. They weren't obviously the original people, right?
Okay, so you're asking me my views on that?
Yeah, I mean, I have no way to prove it here and now, and I'm assuming you don't either. But there was the Neanderthal project that showed that all non-Africans are part Neanderthal.
Well,
so.
I mean that subject, you're getting into a lot of that shit is like a rabbit hole when you get into that. You know what I'm saying?
That's fine.
Because you get into that where you're trying to get an understanding on a physical level of how shit happens, and it kind of deters you.
No, not necessarily.
Kind of, not really, but I mean, if you go far into it to where you lose sight of what's important, it does.
I'm not. Hear me out.
It gets a little iffy because. Yeah, you could say, oh yeah, okay, I believe they're grafted, this, that, the other, and then that makes them seem like, okay, they're the unnatural ones, this, that, and the third, and they're not the original and all this. But what I'm saying is we all come from something that was created. You understand what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but I don't look at that like that. I look at it this way. So
and even the original people, before there were any Caucasians, the original life form here, just didn't spring out from here. You know what I'm saying? We're all a mixture of different peoples that were from other places. You know what I'm saying? we have different star lineages
Yeah.
and star cultures,
Mhm.
and from different parts of the galaxies and stuff to make these genetic lines here. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
everyone was created at some point, and who this natural, non-natural. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Let me say this. I actually look at things very, very different and very, I would say, pretty evolved. I look at actually things via the Hermetic principles. So, in the Hermetic principles, it says like and unlike are the same, right? They're just different in degree, right? And
Yeah.
all I forget what it's called, but basically they can meet. They can meet.
Fair.
Yeah, they can meet. They can meet. All somethings can be reconciled. I forget what it says, but um so I look at like where they came from in terms of their origin. You know what I'm trying to say? And as an empath, what they had to go through. You know what I'm trying to say? Like think of yourself as being an animal or a beast, and you're just coming into and then all of a sudden you're mated with humans, and then you become a animal like a hybrid. You know what I'm trying to say? Which kind of they are now. You know what I'm trying to say? And they're just coming into the knowledge of what it is to be spiritual and what it means to be. So they had to go through a process of understanding who they were. So for that must have been like for me when I was growing up, and I was in third grade, and I remember the teacher saying something about the black slaves, the black slaves this, the black slaves that, and I was like, what the fuck is? I said so that's my history. That's where I came from. You know what I'm trying to say?
The reason why we need to have our own schools and stuff.
Yeah, but no, but hear me out. I hear you saying, and I don't disagree, but here's what I'm saying. The point is that I had to learn that my family came from out of slavery. You know what I'm trying to say? And that was like devastating. All the white kids were looking at me. I'm like, so they're like, oh, so that's you? So I was like, oh, crap. So it was a harsh kind of thing to fucking be told when you're a third grader. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
And the only black kid in the school. Yeah.
At
So
that moment,
exactly.
All of them were looking at you like,
exactly.
Okay, from this, you must be a lesser
Well, I'm not.
person.
Yeah, they weren't looking at me as a lesser person necessarily. They were just looking at me almost in a concerned way, like almost like sad for me, maybe, or just like, oh, so that's why you're different, or are you they were like almost like a weird concern. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, but also, but almost in awe. They're children. They still have a little bit of empathy. You know what I'm trying to say? But here's the point. That at one point, white people were that because they were coming into a human family, right? And they had to realize that they were something outside of that and something a little bit different from that. You know what I'm trying to say? And does that make sense? So you gotta. So some of them handle that with anger. You know what I'm trying to say?
They come with anger because they were, they went through a harsh slavery too. It's not in the written.
Perhaps,
it's not in the history because we're getting all of everything from a Eurocentric point of view.
Yeah.
And so they were the first slaves. You understand what I'm saying? They were.
I've thought about it, but I have no way to prove that. There's no documentation necessarily.
Yeah, you could go back to and look at the Slavic the Slavics and all that. You could look at a little bit of history, but they were the first slaves.
But I know that. Yeah, but I know we were the nobility of Europe. I know that, and I know that they were running around kind of wild. So
yeah, and basically, they know that's why they wrote that shit out of their history. Like they put big block letters. They took the whole fucking block of time out. Big block letters put the dark ages in their shit because they know the deal. You know what I'm saying? And they don't teach their kids that shit because they don't want to instill any type of inferiority in them at all. Yeah. They don't want to stunt their growth and confidence because they know very well what they're doing. When they get to the Black History Month and there's only 2 or 3 black kids in the class and they tell their children the history. So that gets, even though at that time you said they were kind of empathetic, and because they were children, they were concerned.
It wasn't necessarily empathetic.
And this is what happened to his family, and that wasn't right. But at the same time,
look at concern.
That's the seed. They're getting pumped up because they're getting all the stories from, and they're looking at their image, and they're getting all these heroes and hero stories of. valor and victory and
George Washington,
conquering,
and yeah, exactly,
they're
yeah.
being pumped up, and okay, this is what he did, and this is what he contributed, and they're people that look like him. So they're getting pumped up. So they're getting set up to be, not have any like psychological hangups or inferiority complex. They're pretty confident when they go out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They
exactly.
feel like they don't feel insecure about, okay, well, I can go out here and I can create anything I want because that's what my ancestors did, and I'm ruling society, and
Exactly.
I don't have a feeling like I can't make it. They have a disillusionment if they get out there and can't make it, because they've been taught all their lives that of course you're gonna fucking make it. You know what I'm saying? Of course you're gonna be able to do this. You can do anything you fucking want. Look at what we did. We did all this shit. So they're being pumped up, and at the same time they're being pumped up. The black child is being shown that, okay, this is where you come from. This is the lowest in society. You were under oppression, this, that, and the third, and it just creates this whole,
inferiority complex. I mean,
yeah, it creates this kind of split in the mind. You know what I'm saying? It's just this whole split at that time that takes place. And so, but as the two, let's say the same black kid and the same white kid that was in that class and had that understanding and that empathy and all that kind of stuff.
It wasn't empathy like that. No, it wasn't like it was like a weird kind of like curiosity,
right,
concern, but it wasn't empathy like he felt like he was gonna cry. It was empathy like he was like, oh, so that's why so that's you. It was more like, so that's you. But
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah,
saying, but still, it was the most innocent you're ever going to see with a white person.
Correct.
But I'm just saying, as time goes on, and those two people, let's just use those as an example.
Yes.
Those same two kids,
Yeah.
as they grow older, as that seed was planted that day,
Yes.
as they grow older, that changes into something different, and it looks a lot different.
It does. It does.
You know what it looks
I do,
like,
absolutely.
and how it changes as time goes on and they get older.
Absolutely. White supremacy has to be justified. Slavery then becomes justified because, well, we've created all these great things, So, like, okay,
So
I guess that was an unfortunate.
Okay, they start developing things in their mind to say, okay, well, yeah, you come from, look where I come from, and we built society. Like, they really feel like we built civilization. We contributed everything. You really haven't done anything. Like, we've done everything. They feel like that because they've been indoctrinated. And so when it comes to time to, okay, now I'm in a position, I graduated from school. I'm in a position to where I can hire and fire now. They have a certain view about you. And it started all in that fucking class, okay?
No, I get it. And I'll say the beauty of that, metaphysically speaking, is that I would say that, like, there's a certain playing field that's like, okay, at one point we as African people, we had the best of everything. You know what I'm saying? In Africa, Africa has the most, without undeniably, the most rich place on earth.
The richest place.
So
the richest
I'm not saying that for ego, like, oh, Africa. I'm saying it is what it is.
True.
Yeah. So listen, and the way we had everything, now guess what? They get to have everything. So when we had everything and they had everything, and we went through slavery and they came out of the caves, we're gonna see at the end of the day who used their true faculty, which is not their intellect to get to control others, but their heart to fucking become the in this new age a god.
They're not using their intellect. Don't be fooled. If you think they're using intellect, that we're on the wrong page. They're not using. If they didn't come to this using intellect,
what do they use?
They come to this using straight barbaric savagery, violence.
Yeah, that's what I mean by intellect. Yes, intellect.
That's aggressive and it's violent. It's physicality.
Yeah, and that's what intellect.
Somebody with dominance. It doesn't take intellect to do that. A meathead could do that. You understand?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. They're not completely stupid. Obviously, they're obviously mixed with our DNA, so they obviously have brains. But that's not going to.
But no, let's take the argument. I understand what you're talking about. Of course, they're using intellect to maintain the status quo. they've gotten what they got through violence. Okay, let's just be honest. And they're using intellect to maintain the status quo, which they're doing a good job of that. And they're doing a little chess game, and they're maintaining the status quo. But let's just be honest. You said this is how they got there. They didn't get there because take the violence out. Let's really pose this question. Take all of the violence out. Take the guns out. Take all of that war out.
Mm-hmm.
All that, and you're trying to say them using intellect alone, and that's it.
Intellect. No. I'm not saying no. They're using their intellect to. Listen, they're using their intellect and no heart, okay, and no empathy at all, mm-hmm. to do a cold and calculated takeover of nations of people,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
To the point where most indigenous people would not even think that way. Like, for example, Native Americans literally could not. We're gonna buy this land. What do you mean you're gonna buy the land? You mean you buy land? The fuck? Exactly, but that's a thing. When I say intellect, meaning they are thinking in a way of just a certain cold, calculated way to how they can dominate. You know what I'm trying to say? Without any.
But they have to back it up with violence. That's the whole thing I'm trying to say. It can't be done with
I agree, but they don't initially.
They're like, what the fuck do you mean?
But what I'm saying, I get you. I know.
This white man talking about, is he fucking crazy?
I know,
and they laugh about it and they go on, but they have to enforce it.
Exactly, but the intellect comes first. Obviously, they don't just get you by taking over you with force, right? Because they know they can't do that. For a lot of people, you know what I'm trying to say, with most countries, because they just are outnumbered, right? So what they do is actually they actually begin to take over your mind, right?
Yes.
So they first bring in the people that are the missionaries, or and then they teach them maybe the religion, or most importantly the language. And once you speak their language and you agree to the language, right? So if I
right there.
Exactly. So because if a white man just going to put, like, if I'll put it this way, if someone's gonna just capture me, I'd be, and I can speak the language, what the fuck you doing? You know what I'm trying to say? I can't fucking understand you. I fight back. But if they're like, oh well, la 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 la, this is the code of the penal of the sanction of this is the section code 8859. Oh shit, section code 8859 says I can't fish here because I don't have a license and I need to go to license. I need to go.
Like, what's section code 85?
Exactly.
I don't know.
I don't know. Just put your X here. Put your X here, and I'll give you some fire water. That's what I mean by intellect. You know what I'm trying to say?
Okay. And that's what I call fucking trickery. But
yeah, that's fine. But what I'm saying is the intellect is not the highest level. The highest level is the spiritual man.
No.
That's what Bobby Hemmett said. He said that in the ancient Egyptian world, they said that there was three types of people. There was the automaton, which is just the person that is automated. You know what I'm trying to say? And then there's the intellect, which is the next level, which the intellect is the people that run the automaton. So they're like your doctors, your Donald Trumps, your accountants, your politicians. You know what I'm trying to say? The people that look at the world and on the 5 sense level and dominate the 5 sense world. And then you have your spiritual man. You know what I'm trying to say? Who by understanding spirituality, you already mastered all other levels. I'm trying to say by being spiritual, you already reached a certain level of intellect that they can never understand, and now you can eventually, as a spiritual man, you can master this whole matrix. You know what I'm trying to say, if you evolve enough. And so they're how can I put it, now in this age, the spiritual man basically is going to overcome we've had to. I'm gonna put it. We know we were going to win this war, obviously, with physical means, because they have guns, tanks, drones, and nukes. You know what I'm trying to say? So we knew that. Well, eventually I found out that we're going to have to win this through the occult. You know what I'm trying to say? Through our spiritual sciences, which as I said, they may know it, but they don't have the juice to implement it. They might have had some juice for a little bit, because compared to us coming out of slavery and being in the church, they still had something. You know what I'm trying to say? But that was just juice they stole from us. You know what I'm trying to say? And we gave them out of fear. But now that we're approaching this new age, this the spiritual man, even this was only a test for us. You know I'm trying to say. So it's like we can look back at it and we can dissect it all, but we created this as a test for us.
It sure is, and that goes back to what I was saying in the last conversation when I was talking about we needed, in order to experience growth, we need that opposing
we need
force.
a foe,
That's how
exactly.
that's why you descend down into duality.
Correct.
It's just for growth. You understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
Because you need something to oppose you to create that square and that friction, because that opposing force, you're pushing against it. Like I gave you example, take one hand and it's going up and down, and then take the other hand, go horizontal. It can't go anywhere. It's perpendicular to that. So the only thing it could do, if you keep pushing, it just goes up. You see that friction that creates that growth, that upward, growth like that. So yeah, that's basically what it is. We needed a challenge. We needed that challenge for growth.
Exactly.
And so on that note, it's 3:33.
Man, I must have said the right thing when I mentioned Music Soul Child. That was it. You started going on a tangent. I was like, I got her for another hour. Yes.
I told you do that to me. I don't know. It's you. It's you, because nobody else get me to talk like that. You know what I'm saying?
Good. Well,
Because I'll be like, look, I'm done. I can't do it. But
it's a spirit. It's a spirit.
It's definitely
when
the
we
spirit.
speak, you gotta realize
that 333 is confirming it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The masters are in our presence
exactly.
right now.
We're opening up. We're freeing, like through. Like I know within me, I've got the ancestors that are locked in. Their souls are channeled through me. And so when I speak and we let this shit open, then it's like that helps free them. So it's like. Yes. These conversations need to happen. That's why
that energy is built up within me, and I hold these conversations, but it's built up within me to the point where it needed to be released. I had already started writing a book. I had wrote a book before, and because the shit just you can't hold it. If you do, I guess we all go through our own spiritual test. If you do it's not going to be good. I'll put it that way.
Of course.
Because we all have soul contracts.
Correct. Yeah.
So one way or another, you have to honor that. Regardless of how you do it, you need to honor it. So.
Correct.
On that note,